Squad up, haters down, haters down. If you ain't about that life, don't come around, don't come around. Got the crowd, gone wild, gone wild. Tell me what you know about that Mem style,
Yo, y'all know what time it is, man. It's the Memphis Jelks Show. Yes. This is my favorite time of every week, man. I never, it never fail. I'd be like looking at it be Tuesday night. I'd be like, man, what time is it? What time we go on tomorrow? I'll be texting, oh, like, is it almost Wednesday yet? Because I'll be ready to get to y'all, man. I'd be like, I wonder what they doing out there, man. How y'all doing out there, man? For real, man. It's been a lot going on. It's summertime, you know what I'm saying? Almost anyway. I'm feeling like it's summertime. For real, though, because it's like old man winter didn't want to go anywhere. And now finally, man, here in West Tennessee, man, we're getting the best weather ever. I think today it was like 89 or something like that. I started to go in the backyard and hop in the pool. But I can't seem to get enough time to. I can't seem to get enough time to do that. But hopefully one of these days I'll be able to do it. Y'all already know what time it is, man. Like, share, subscribe, and comment, man. Or you know what I'm saying? The phone lines, you know, we keep them phone lines open too, but you know what I'm saying? You know, we like to hear from everybody, but you know what I'm saying? Right now, I want to hear from this guy right here.
Drums, please.
Oh!
What's up, baby? We back, man.
Oh, we man, thank God, man. He done blessed us to see another week, bro.
Man, listen, I'm excited about it, too.
Hey. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Well, you know, I've been brainstorming and I've been texting you and stuff. So I thought about, well, we actually came up with the idea of starting a new segment. The new segment is called For Yo Page. Yep, For Yo Page. So what we're going to do, man, is we're giving artists opportunities, man, to get their music video heard and seen on the Memphis Jelks Show. For free. Can't beat it with a bat. Can't beat it with a bat, man. So we just want to go ahead.
If somebody out there and they want their video to be featured, what they got to do?
All you got to do is if you're out there and you want your video to be featured on the For Yo Page segment of the Memphis Jelks Show, all you got to do is email your video or the link to your video to memphisjelks@gmail.com. And don't be scared. Oh man, we have an amazing guest. This is our biggest guest that we've had on the show yet so far. No yes, disrespect to none of the other guests, because we've had some huge guests on here. Yeah. But this is by far the biggest, most known, you know, guest that we've had, and one of the greatest people that I've met, man, ever in life. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So I'm gonna let them marinate on that for a minute. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get to I'm gonna let them marinate on that for a minute, because right now it's time for For Yo Page, man. Hey, it's about to be up. We waiting on a phone call real quick from the artist. Her name is Paula Latang. We're waiting on a call, man, because what we do on the For Yo Page segment, man, we let the artist come in, do a brief intro, introduce their video, and then we gonna run it up. So Paula Latang, if you out there watching, we waiting on your phone call so we can keep the show moving and grooving. Let you get, man, the song that she did, man, is so freaking amazing, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes you like back to like the funk days, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And then she names like a lot of the really great acts from that time and stuff like that. And she mixes it all in with this really good groove to where you can just hit the dance floor, man, and just, you know, make it do what it do.
You know I love a good production, man. You know I like a good song.
Already, man. Already. Me too. I wish I would have produced it. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? They having all the fun.
Listen, you got to dust your producer hat off, man. You know, you've been podcasting so much, you got to dust that producer hat off, man, and get back in that studio and produce some heat.
I know that's right, man. I know that's right. I think I done fell in love with podcasting, though, man. It's crazy. I'm trying not to fall in love with this more than I'm in love with the music because, you know, I love the music to death. But we've been waiting. We're not going to wait too long because we got our special guest back here and shoot. I don't want to keep them waiting too long. So if Miss Latang, please call in. If not, we finna go ahead and run your video. We love the video over here at the Memphis Jelks Show.
You got 30 seconds.
You got 30 seconds. All right, here it is. Paula Latang, DJ spin that song again right here on the Memphis Jelks Show.
DJ spin that song again. I wanna feel free. DJ spin that song again. Make me feel like I'm a dancer on the soul train. Music's got me on the floor. Got me rocking, slipping, sliding like I did before. James Tillery, don't know what's got into me. Jackson 5, Grandmaster Flash, Ozzy Brothers, you know where it's at. Midnight Star, drink you all night, dancing till the morning light. I remember you and me, we used to be free. Dancing on the dance floor, dancing on the dance floor. Dance. Dancing on the dance floor, dancing on the dance floor, yeah. What goes around comes back again. I remember when it all began. Music to put you in the mood, get you on the floor to make your body move. Sing Shaka Khan, Melba Moore, take us back on some Albie Show. Earth, Wind, Fire, and the Spinners too. Ray Parker had us in the groove. Dinah Ross, Evelyn, Champagne Kid, raise the glass to the old school again, again. Free, dancing on the dance floor, dancing on the dance floor, dance. Free, dancing on the dance floor, dancing on the dance floor, yeah. She brought the good times. Do you remember those good times? Don't it make you feel good? Don't it feel good? Don't it make you feel so right tonight? Don't it make you feel like you could dance What goes around comes back again. DJ spin that song again. We're gonna party with old friends. Music to put you in the mood. Get you on the floor to make your body move. DJ spin that song again. 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 DJ spin that song
Yo, that was off the hook, y'all. Y'all was off the hook. Y'all
Nice.
gotta, hey, y'all
Nice.
gotta make sure y'all called out y'all local DJs, man, and y'all get that song played in every local club, man.
that
It's
on.
out there, bro.
That might
Yes.
be good for the summer barbecue, man.
Definitely, man. Yep, but you know what? We gotta take a short intermission. And we'll be right back.
Here's a legendary dance for a legendary man. Slide your feet, then wave your hands. When it come to comedians, he the best in the land. When it come to his people, he been taking a stand. Made the whole world laugh. America's dad, first black to win an Emmy in America's past. Respect to an honorary Navy vet. From Richard Allen Projects, Philadelphia's best. Made it cool to go to school and not be a fool. Gave millions to HBCUs. A positive role model when black people needed him most. He introduced the Cosby Show. Let's go. Now step to the left, slide to the right. Move your feet and have fun tonight. Now slide to the left, step to the right. Y'all, we got to have fun tonight. Everybody come on. Do the Cosby dance. Do the Cosby dance. Everybody come on. Do the Cosby dance. Do the Cosby dance.
I am so sorry for that, y'all. We had some technical difficulties. Going on. I am so sorry. But it's about that time. I couldn't wait. This is the moment that I've been waiting on, man, all week long, man. Not more than a week, because he been on the schedule for like, about a little over a month. And you know how the schedule is, man. We stay like a month or two ahead of time. I think we're booked to like August or something at this point. But anyway, man, this is one of the biggest guests that we've had thus far. He hails from Queens, New York. Shout out to Queens in the building. The home of Nasty Nas, ain't it? Yes, sir. Nas. Shout out. Man, he's the host of Let It Be Known News Show. He's the senior national correspondent for Black Press of America.
That's a lot.
And he's my friend. We talking about
Drums, please.
Stacy Brown.
Welcome to the Memphis Jelks Show.
Yes.
Memphis Jelks, the one and only. Wow.
Thank you, Stacy. Thank you so much,
Give
man.
yourself the horn, man.
Oh man, thank you. I love it. Yes. Man, thank you so much, because I know you're a super busy person, man. I've been following you on.
Busy for Memphis Jelks. Who could be too
Thank
busy
you.
for Memphis Jelks?
Oh well, I mean, you making me feel good. Oh man, I've been following you and stuff. I've been seeing like you were at Disney World not too long ago, hanging out with Chloe Bailey, or was it Haley Bailey? It was one of them, but you were interviewing her. I'm like, if I wasn't married, but
Better be careful.
Listen,
Yeah,
don't
let me.
get smacked upside the head in there now.
I know, right? Oh,
Exactly. I should have hit the if I was I would probably but nah. Man, but I can't thank you enough though, Stacy, for joining, man. How you been?
man, just trying to be like you, busy, stay busy. Trying to stay busy.
I know that's right, man. Busy. That should have been my middle name.
Well, look, you got no choice. Well, all you do, and then you hooked up with the busiest man in show business anyway. You and Chuck D. Man.
Chuck D. Public enemy number one. He is super busy, man. Somebody told me the other day that he's about to be in Toronto, and then you and I were talking backstage, and you said, "Well, he's at Paisley Park at Prince's house." He at Prince's house right now. I'm like,
"Yep,
come on."
I saw something. I was like, "Oh man, Chuck is in Minneapolis. There's some sort of celebration of Prince this week, and Chuck is leading the charge over there. Him and Shaka Khan and D Nice."
Whoa. You said 3 heavy hitting names right
Tell
there,
me
man.
About it. Well,
Chuck,
you know what? Chuck, this is how he roll, right?
Mm-hmm. Man, I've seen him on stage with Janet Jackson. And Prince. And Prince.
Say, better than that. Seen him on stage with Prince.
Exactly. Now you're at Prince's house probably having crumpets and tea. or some pancakes. Then
pancakes. There
Charlie Murphy said they ate pancakes.
Oh man.
Man. I woke up one day, man, and I had there was a really big article up on me, and it was when I made a record for Dr. Cosby, and this news article was just everywhere. I was like, wow. Now looking, the first thing I do is go see who wrote this. And it said, written by Stacy Brown. I mean, my phone is blowing up off the hook and stuff. All of a sudden, I'm feeling famous all of a sudden. So I have to find out who is this Stacy Brown person. And so I started doing all my little Google searching and LinkedIn and everything. I mean, shoot. And then when I did find him, I'm like, man, he knows the same people that I know. Like, the Chuck D's, of the world.
Chuck was the one who was telling me about you. Chuck was like, that's the real deal. Memphis is the real deal.
Wow.
I was like, okay. If Chuck say it, I mean, somebody else could say it. AZ could say it, this person. But if Chuck say it, you listen. You got it.
Wow. And then the Andrew Wyatts, of the world.
Oh, yeah.
We were I was like, wow, we're I guess it's true what they say. They say it's a 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So for every 6 people, you can connect pretty much. You have 6 people in your circle that can connect you with somebody's 6 people in their circle who can pretty much introduce you to anybody you want to at some point.
It's so interesting. I was talking to this guy. His name is Peter Thompson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's from Louisiana, and he was in the civil rights movement, Reverend Peter Thompson. And he was telling me, it's funny you say that 6 degrees. He was telling me that one of the things that he worked directly with Andrew Young. In fact, Ambassador Young, I was with him just a couple of weeks ago with Peter. And he worked with him and Ralph Abernathy, Dr. King, directly with Dr. King. He said, you know how we were able to raise money? He said everybody was charged with calling 5 people that they knew and getting $25 from each person. And he said it worked every time. He said you'd be surprised how many people you knew that knew somebody else that you knew.
Wow.
So that whole 6 degrees, man, it stretches a long way.
Shout out to the 6 degrees. It has to work, man, for me to have, you on my show. It's just such an honor. I just, man, thank you.
It's absolutely my honor. That's for sure. And then I get to meet this guy here. Oh,
in the building. That's the man.
Man, I'm just here along for the ride. I just ride with Memphis Jelks, and we pull up to whoever he got, you know.
Don't let him tell you that. I tell him all my wild, crazy ideas, and then he brings them like down to earth.
But you know what? It's good to have that type of wingman, right? Who's somebody who's gonna be straight up. Look, maybe not maybe not that. Memphis.
Yeah,
maybe we should do
don't.
this.
Yeah, we shouldn't pull up in the hot air balloon. You know,
Right.
maybe a helicopter. I don't know. Because that's how I be thinking.
Yeah.
And I know I be thinking astronomically huge. So I need a person like O to pull reel me in, man. When you see me go up, reel me in, because I'm thinking light years ahead.
Yeah.
Make it to where it's actually doable.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm there with you though. You know, I got a great producer too, Greer on the morning show, and she has to pull me into, so it's all right. All right. She says I'm petty. So,
ain't nothing wrong with being a little petty, you know. Sometimes you need to be a little petty.
Just a little, right?
It helps get the point across, you know.
Yeah, look, some things you just can't let go that easy.
Yeah.
So man, the viewers are dying to know. They wanting to know, your story. So we're not gonna spend, too long on it, but we definitely want to give them your backstory though. I know that you started like in '94 with the Daily News of Los Angeles.
Yeah. So what's interesting about that was that there was a young lady who worked there named Teresa Supplied. And Teresa, I will always be grateful to Teresa. When I was a kid, I just wanted to be a journalist. At first grade, I used to bring all the newspapers. New York, you got like 100 tabloids, right? Mm-hmm. I used to bring all the newspapers to school in the first grade. My teacher, I remember my teacher's name. Her name was Ribner, Miss Ribner. And Miss Ribner used to say, like, Dad, that's all you do is read the newspaper. You don't even play gym. You barely eat your lunch. You read the newspaper. So she used to have me read the current events to the class. So she started calling me like the media man.
Nice.
Nice. I knew from there I was going to be in the media. And so I went out to LA 94. I guess it was like 94. And Teresa Supply was like the office manager for the LA Daily News. And just a wonderful, wonderful person. And so we talked. She they had an opening for an editorial assistant. And I was like, man, I want to be a reporter. And Teresa was like, take it easy, one step at a time, right? So she actually hired me. And told me what my salary was. It wasn't much at all, Memphis. I was out in LA, Woodland Hills too, where you need money.
Wow.
I wasn't making none of it. I got the job. I was so happy just to be in a newsroom. And before I started, I flew to New York, back home, and she called me in New York. She says, I'm looking forward to you starting. She said, by the way, I was able to get you a little bit more money. I was like, wow. But she looked after me. And, I used to tell them, and the true story, you mentioned Cosby. So how I got to start, really my career changed when, unfortunately, when Cosby lost Ennis Cosby, his son. So we are in the newsroom. And I used to be the first one in the newsroom all the time, Memphis. I just love the newsroom. First one there. Reporters come in all late whenever they want to walk in, 10, 11 o'clock. I'm there 7 in the morning, right?
Nice.
And so this thing comes over the police scanner about this shooting over at the Sepulveda Pass in California off the 405 freeway. And then there was chatter about Malcolm Jamal Warner. And I was like, wow, what's going on? Malcolm Jamal Warner is involved in the shooting. So I kept telling the editor, let me have it. Nah, this is not your thing. This is not your. I said, come on, let me have it. And so, long story short, I find out that indeed it's not Malcolm Jamal Warner. It's Bill Cosby's son. but the Daily News was about to run a big story. Malcolm Jamal Warner killed in California. And I'm like, no, that's not it. No, you don't know what you're talking about. I said, listen, Bill Cosby's son is not Malcolm Jamal Warner. That's the TV son. This is, certain folks.
Yeah.
And so I finally convinced them to let me in on the story. And so we got the story right. We was like, I believe we was the first one with the story, and they were so happy. And from that point on, they gave me more and more those type of assignments, police assignments, court assignments, and stuff like that. That's where my career just really took off. But I give all that credit to the tenacity, not being so enthusiastic about what I was doing. But Teresa supplied. She got me started. Last I checked, a couple of years ago, she was still at the LA Daily News. So I just think the best of her. She'll never be forgotten. In all my journeys, she's never been forgotten. There's the horn.
And speaking of Dr. Cosby's son, Enos Cosby, anytime on this show when we mention someone who's no longer with us, we like to do a brief moment of silence. So can we give a moment of silence for Enos Cosby? Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, that was, I can only imagine. I've been to Mr. Cosby's home in New York, and you see the paintings on the wall, you see the pictures and stuff of Mr. Cosby and Ennis, and you just wonder how things, even his situation that he went through recently, how that even would have came about, I should say, had Ennis still been around. I think he lost a big part of himself when Ennis was taken from him.
Wow. That has to be the worst. I have 3 sons and a daughter, and I just couldn't imagine losing any of them.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so that's how I got started. Eventually worked for the LA Times, their community news division anyway. Worked in New York, working for MSNBC, covered the Michael Jackson trial. In fact, that was a big thing. The prosecution had me testify in that trial.
Wow. What? I want to come back to that. Because before you talk about that, I want to talk about, you covered Michael Jackson's marriage too to Lisa
Debbie
Marie
Rowe.
Presley.
Yeah.
To Debbie Rowe.
Yeah, it wasn't Lisa.
It wasn't Lisa.
I met Lisa.
Okay, because we're here in Memphis. We're trying. We definitely want to hear about the Presleys.
Man, I went to Graceland, man. That place. Have you been?
You know what? I've been living in Memphis all these years, and I've never been on the inside of Graceland.
Don't worry about it, because you know what? There's plenty of New Yorkers who's never been to the Statue of Liberty, plenty of New Yorkers who's never been to the Empire State Building. But I got to tell you, y'all missing out, and it's right in your backyard.
Wow.
It's a great tour that they do. Tony Danza leads the tour, actually, the actor.
Really?
And oh yeah, it's a great tour. You learn so much about Elvis. Y'all got to check it out. It's really worth it. That tour is worth it. But yeah, I met Lisa in Las Vegas. If you remember, I don't know if you remember or paid attention at the time, the VH1 used to have the Divas show. It's a concert with all the women performing, like Whitney. So this particular show, Whitney performed. She performed with Bobby. In fact, Bobby came on stage, and other women were performing, and Lisa Marie was performing because she had always wanted to drop an album, and she did a great job. She was like her dad. She had a great stage presence. So afterwards, they had everybody who performed, Whitney, everybody, they had their own little tents in the back of this arena. And, it was VIPs only. And I was fortunate because of who I was with at the time. to be able to go back there, hang out. Sharon Osbourne. I got a great story about Sharon Osbourne.
We gotta hear it. We gotta hear it.
Sharon Osbourne. Let me tell you something before I even go back, because Lisa, I love Lisa. But Sharon, Sharon. So I go to Sharon's tent, and Joseph Jackson was with me and his daughter Rebe and a couple of her kids. And so we get to her tent, and Sharon is like, "Who is this?" Now listen. I don't think this much of myself, so let me say it like that. But she's like, "Who is this beautiful black man?" She got, and I just figured she's just complimenting me or whatever. She grabs me by the hand. She's like grabbing me by the arm. She's holding, and we want to keep it moving, right? And she, "Oh no, you got to tell me about yourself or whatever." She's like, "I want to take you home." I was like, she may very well have the whole time just been joking, right? But it was like, it got to the point where like Joseph was like, "You better let that man go." She's like, "No, I really want to take him home with me." And so I said to her, I said, "Isn't Ozzy, that's Ozzy Osbourne's wife." I said, "Isn't Ozzy home?" She said, "He will never know." He said he could be there, but he would never. And what she was referring to, Ozzy be high all the time.
Yep.
I was like, OMG, Sharon Osbourne want to get busy. I was like, no, thank you. And especially, and I don't care what nobody say, Lisa Marie. So we move on, go over to see Lisa Marie, and we talk for a long time. But even before, I always said, as bad as this might sound, when she was married to Michael, she was the hottest she ever looked. That year and a half she was married to Michael Jackson, Lisa Marie Presley was hot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was, but the thing I found about her, we talked for a long time, and the thing I found about her was like, man, she is so real and so cool. That whole, of course she loved her dad, but she was a little girl when he died, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't realize the impact of her dad until later on, right? Much later on too. It wasn't like she was 10 years old and realized it. I mean, she a little bit later on, she realized the impact of her dad, but it wasn't all about her dad. It was just about life. She had a lot of people, and the Jacksons, they can relate to it. Obviously, people just come around and take advantage of her because she was Elvis's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Like people take advantage of Michael because he was Michael, or somebody related to Michael because he was Michael, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she made so much sense in a lot of stuff she said, even about Michael. She, at that time they had long since been divorced, and she just, she was honest. Like, I wanted the marriage to work. It wasn't an interview. It was just a discussion. I wasn't there as a journalist. I was there as just, somebody enjoying good music. And she was just telling me, she's like, he was so, cool for a while. And then things got kind of out of hand. Spike Lee got involved somehow. It was so weird. Yeah. So, and then the family, of course, she appealed to Michael's family to try and, help things out with their marriage. But then she realized that it was just not something that was going to be salvageable. So she had to move on.
Wow.
And she always cared about him. She cared about him to the day he died. So, but she was a sweet girl. She was when I heard she died, man, it was like, man, I was really saddened. But that's just unfortunate. Then her mom, her mom wanted, she's fighting with Riley Keough, Lisa's daughter, over the estate, about a month or two ago, and they finally settled it. And one of the things that they was fighting about is that Priscilla wanted to be buried next to Elvis at Graceland. How is that even possible when his parents are already there? Like, she want to move one of the parents? The ex-wife. She wasn't even the widow when he died. They was already split up and divorced. It's like, come on, Priscilla, keep it moving.
Wow.
Keep it moving.
So we gotta, like I said, we gotta stick to the rule, y'all. Moment of silence for Lisa Marie Presley. Rest in peace. Now let's get into the Michael Jackson trial.
Yeah, you know, Memphis is so interesting because I covered both Bill Cosby's trial. The first trial when the jury hung, they had 10-2 in favor of acquittal, and they hung, and then of course they convicted him in the second trial. But Tom Mesereau was Cosby's lead attorney in the second trial, which of course, that's when he was convicted. But Tom was Michael's attorney. And he did a phenomenal job getting Michael, winning Michael an acquittal. 13 counts Michael had against him, but I'll never forget. They called because Bob Jones used to work for Michael Jackson for a long time, since Michael was like 10 years old. He worked with him at Motown. He was the vice president of communications for Michael's company. Traveled with Michael all over the world for decades. And Bob, when Michael went on trial, Randy Jackson took over Michael's business affairs. And the first thing Randy did was fire Bob. There's always a history there. The brothers never liked Bob. The family never liked Bob. For whatever reason, I believe, and this is just me, and I'm not trying to cast aspersions, but I believe that it's because Bob was gay. That's my belief. I mean, they gave me that impression that's why they didn't like him, because Bob looked out and after Michael, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they made some comments and things I don't want to repeat. I don't want nobody to think I'm trying to throw the Jacksons under the bus.
No, but they're Jehovah's Witnesses, though, aren't they?
No, people
they're
keep
not
saying that. No,
yeah.
At one point, Michael was and that was until 1985. So that's a long, long time ago. Catherine Jackson is, for last I understood, because I haven't spoken to them in years now, but Catherine, last I understood, was one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and Reeby's one of Jehovah's. But the rest of them are just heathens. Let me tell you. Look. When I met Jack, the first time I met Jackie, it was so funny because Jackie was always like this, and he is. Jackie is one of these guys that if you ever run into Jackie, very distinguished guy. He's a lot like Joseph, but he's a lot more distinguished than his father, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just the coolest guy, the coolest dude, and he's a ladies' magnet, right?
Definitely.
So I when I met him, one thing always came to mind. I finally, after maybe a few times being around him, I finally got the nerve to tease him about, because when the 1984 Victory Tour was happening, I went to see it, and Jackie couldn't perform when they came to New York. He was on crutches. Well, the legend was that he was fooling around on his wife with a certain celebrity, who I won't say her name. Everybody will know her, but I won't say her name. Turned out it was true. But I always thought, you hear stuff, and I always say, okay, people just put their own spin on stuff or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But Jackie was on crutches when he came out before the brothers took the stage. He came out on stage and he waved that crutch, and the crowd at Giant Stadium went wow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now we, a few years later, I'm with Jackie and I'm talking. I said, Jackie, one of the things I remember most about the Victory Tour, other than it being such a great, great show, was you in those crutches. And Jermaine was there, and I want to say Randy, not Randy. It wasn't Randy, it was Jermaine. It was Jermaine Tito, and we were in the kitchen at their Havenhurst home. And I said, come on, what's the real story? And they mentioned the person's name. I think Jermaine was the first one. He said, I got 2 words for you. And he mentioned her name. And I started laughing. I was like, so it's true. So what happened was He was with this particular celebrity, and the wife caught him, and she ran him over on his own motorcycle. And so he broke his leg. Broke his leg. He couldn't perform.
That'll teach you a lesson right there.
Let me tell you something. Them Jackson boys, that don't teach them no lessons. Them boys, they got more women than Wilt Chamberlain ever had. And look, Jermaine, no, I can tell some stories. Jermaine put me in the spot a couple of times. One time, and I'm gonna tell this story too. He can't deny it. You know it's true. we in Encino, we drive his mom's brand new Mercedes, right? I mean, it's a big Mercedes. I had never driven a Mercedes before at that point, right? And we ride, we pick up this, we stop at He said, we're gonna stop at this Starbucks right here. It's on Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks. And I said, okay, what are we stopping here for? Because he told his wife at the time, who was his wife was absolutely gorgeous, Alejandra. It's not many women who are more gorgeous than Alejandra that I've met, right?
Wow.
And so he tells her, because Louis Farrakhan was in town, Jermaine, like a Muslim, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least he sometimes is a Muslim. He mentioned Jehovah's Witnesses, and he's like, the true God's name is Jehovah, and whenever I'm on the airplane, I pray to Jehovah. He don't pray to Allah. So,
until he lands.
Until he lands, right? I told him he's a fool. But he's like, come on, let's go. He said, I need you to come with me. I said, I'm not going to see Farrakhan. He's like, no, just come. He told Alejandro he's going to see the minister. All right, so I ride down. He said, we're going to stop here. We go into Starbucks. I think it was Starbucks. I know it was a coffee spot. And inside was this white woman who, I mean, she was very attractive. And I won't say her name because I don't want to out people, but he picks her up. Name starts with an S. He picks her up. And he picks her. Well, he doesn't pick her up. What happens is he's talking to her. He introduces me to her. And then he's like, all right, let's go. She gets in her car. She follows us. We go into, and now this was eerie for me, into the Sepulveda Pass. It's like 9:00 at night, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go up out the exit there, and that's we mentioned that's where Ennis was killed, right? And it's pitch dark out there. So he pulls into this little spot, and she pulls behind him. He says, "Come back in about an hour." I said, "Come back? What do you mean? I'm not." He said, "Here, take the keys." I was so scared to drive that car. And so anyway, I drive off, and I'm telling y'all, this is a true. All honestly, I'm not gonna qualify stuff by saying it's a true story because it's a true story. I come back, kept checking the time. I go hang out for whatever you do. Don't go back to the house though, right? So I already knew what was up. My thing was, I come back, and they in her car, she had a Jeep. And like two kids. I mean, I pull up behind it, and the Jeep is like rocking. And please, man, you can get a hotel. I could not. But I said, "Oh, come on." So anyway, I mean, he put me in spots like that too. At other times too, I was like, I've had it. Look, he could at least bring somebody for me. but we go. But my thing was though, Alejandra was extreme, and I know you can't just go on looks. I know that, right? I mean, look, I'm fortunate. My wife, I feel like I got the whole package: looks, everything else. All right, but I know you just can't go on that. But my gosh, guys,
Wow.
Prince saying nothing compares to you. I don't. What could compare? And she was, you know, and she was in love with him. She was absolutely head over heels in love, and she would say stuff that guys would die to hear, like "There's nothing I wouldn't do for you" and stuff like that.
Oh wow.
Mm.
So you know, guys. I mean, but it's the Jackson brothers though.
Yeah,
They
they've been
got it
like,
from their dad. You
and
know,
they've been around the world too. They've seen
and
they've seen more than we could ever. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, look, but you know, you understand that they're the Jacksons, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good looking family, right? If you ever seen any of their Catherine and Joe's grandkids, you know, other than Michael's kids, because you know they were, you know, somebody else's kids. I mean, biologically anyway. But the ones that came naturally, I mean, these are some gorgeous people. And so
Yeah.
you know, and then
Mm-hmm.
being good looking and famous.
And
Come on.
rich. And rich.
And rich.
Can't forget rich.
So I'm pretty sure it was hard to. It probably was hard for any woman to be the one woman for them, because look, she had to expect something like these athletes. You know, I mean, these are the Jacksons. But
Exactly. So you said they had you testify during the trial for Mike.
So the story of Bob Jones is Bob. So Bob got fired, and Bob was very frank. Bob was a very honest man. Like, look, I don't know where my next check's coming from. I'm going to write a book, and I would like, because you know the family so well, and you know everybody knows you. Will you write the book for me? So I said, well, let me talk with the family, whatever. He said, I'm not going to call him a pedophile. And so I remember Catherine, I remember Reedy. Jermaine didn't answer me, but they was like, you know, it's what you do. You're a journalist. You're a writer. You're not calling him a pedophile. Do what you do. But they was not happy with that book. It was not happy. And I got all the blame. Bob didn't get the blame. It's Bob's book. It's Bob's words. Not mine. I'm just the writer. But they, oh my God. So in the book, Bob talks about an incident in which they're sitting on an airplane, and one of the alleged victims had told the authorities that Michael would lick him on top of the head. Well, Bob in his book had wrote about him licking the boy on top of his head. And so they wanted corroboration, the prosecution did. So they subpoenaed me because I was the writer. They subpoenaed Bob too. We both testified.
Oh, wow.
So so the weirdest thing though, so I'm testifying, and who am I on the elevator with when I'm the day I'm testifying? Who am I on the elevator with? It was me. I had an attorney. You may know the name Mel Sachs. He was Derek Jeter, Mike Tyson, George Steinbrenner's attorney. He was my attorney.
Wow.
And we on the elevator at the courthouse. Me, Mel Sachs, Michael, and Catherine.
Oh my goodness! Man. Come on! Oh man! What?
And I kid you not, Memphis. And what makes that even more? It's already strange, right? But what makes it even more strange was that, so I was testifying that morning. They took a break, and it was during the break we were going to our break rooms where I'm on the elevator. Why am I on the elevator with the defendant?
Right.
And Catherine, who would just tell me all the time when I would come out to LA, you're not staying in a hotel, you're not staying with anybody, you're staying with us. And you know, she opened her home to me. She absolutely ignored me on that elevator, whereas Michael was just freely talking with me, talking with Mel, playing games with us, and this and that. And I mean, he took it like a champ. But I will say this: when I was testifying, the whole time I was testifying, we was about this close. Michael, the defense is sitting here, and the bench is here. That the witness stand is here, and this guy just stared. Memphis and he stared a hole through me, and he never blinked. I'm on the stand a couple of hours. He never blinks the whole time.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Unbelievable. And it's so funny because a couple of things also happened because I was with him the day before. The day before I testified. Who was I with? The defendant. The defendant. It was just so out of sorts. It was out of
Wow.
sorts. I got a call. Now they took us to, all witnesses were taken to this hotel, which was supposed to be like private or whatever, right? That nobody would know that you're there, or whatever. And I go to my room. The phone rings. Who's calling me? Jackie. How do you get the phone number at the hotel? It was so bizarre. So bizarre. I was stunned, though, to be honest with you. I was stunned when they came back not guilty. I really was. I had talked to the alleged victim in that case too, and to be quite honest with you, I know people don't want to hear it. And I'm not. Look, he was acquitted, but he seemed so genuine to me. That kid. I mean, I was blown away by him.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, wow. I said, well, I just felt bad. I felt bad because, look, if he's lying, shame on him because and he's a great actor if he's lying. But look, at the same time, Michael said it was all in love. It was just warm milk and cookies. You know, they had the milk and cookies. You know,
that's Bernie Mac. That's Bernie Mac right there. Rest in peace to Bernie Mac.
There you go. but it was all, you know, Michael said, you know, he said what killed me with Michael was when he said he'd rather climb a tree than have sex. I was like, oh snap. It was like flag on the play.
Oh man, but he might have saw his brothers doing it. You know, his brothers had so many girls growing up. It was too easy for them. It might have been too easy for them. Like
I
they
think
could
he
have.
resented that though. I don't think he liked that. Not resented that. I don't think he liked that about his brothers because his father was a philanderer and his brothers followed his footsteps and perhaps I don't think Michael looked at that like like notching their belts or whatever like they did. Like I said, those boys.
I don't think so either.
Those boys, and they probably Jermaine. The last I heard, he was now married again, like for the fourth or fifth time. This time though, the wife. Now remember how old Jermaine's almost 70 years old. The wife is like 21.
Wow.
The current wife. From what the last I heard, or in her early 20s.
Wow.
This is like, man, I know Viagra staying in business. Oh, man.
So let me ask you this. When you are so close with a family like that, how difficult does it make your job as a journalist to have to also report and write about these things, right? Does it conflict you in any way, or do you have to remove your personal feelings from it? Like because I know you said you wrote the book, it was some people that wasn't too happy about it, but how does that make your job difficult or easy, or how hard is it to separate the two?
So that's a great question. So let me preface it by saying this. Before all the trial stuff, years before that, Bob and other and some of the family would call me up because they knew me and they knew I was a journalist and say stuff like, well, Michael needs some good press. So I would give him some good press. There was one, for instance, which was so small. If you ever, I don't know if they do this in Tennessee. I'm pretty sure they probably do. But they have this adopt a highway programs, right?
Yes.
And where somebody will pay for a stretch of, they'll give a donation and it'll be their stretch of the highway that they will pay to have it cleaned.
Yeah.
And Michael did that in Los Angeles County, right? And they call me up. Nobody's even talking about because my thing was nobody really talks about that anyway. I don't care who does it. Nobody talks about it. It's never in the media.
No.
But they wanted Michael to get some media. Michael wanted some media. He had in addition to the family, he had Bob call me up, and so I did a story in the LA Daily News about it. when the babies when the first kid Prince was born, yeah, Prince was born, Paris was born. One of them was born before the pet Prince. I did a story about that. They wanted to make sure when he got married to you mentioned Debbie Rowe. You mentioned his marriage, and when he got married to Debbie Rowe, um, this was their chance to show that he was normal, right?
Mm.
So they wanted to say no, a regular story, whereas everybody else is writing sensational stuff. So I just wrote a straightforward Michael Jackson's married. The King of Pop got married, right? So stuff like that. But when it comes to the hard stuff, first of all, it was heartbreaking when I was with Stevie Wonder's mother. I wrote a book with her and Stevie, right? But I was with her at the time that Michael got arrested. And if you remember the scene when he was in handcuffs, right? And she broke down and she started crying that she was just depressed. I mean, just upset seeing Michael in handcuffs. And believe it or not, I didn't break down or cry or anything, but I was like devastated to see Michael Jackson in handcuffs.
Yeah.
And so it was hard. And then the position that ultimately that I took was that I was believing the victim.
Mm.
And so that made it even worse.
Yeah.
And that caused this chasm between me and the family that we never really was able to bridge anymore, right? But that's okay, because you have to, a man has to stand up for what he believes in.
Yeah.
You know what? I will die standing up than living on my knees, as they say. And so that's what I believed. And the thing about it is I care about kids more than I care about a pop music star. And my belief, the jury said you're wrong. The jury told me I was wrong, right? By their verdict. So I don't want folks to hear this and say, oh, he's still accusing Michael. I'm not accusing him. He was acquitted. I'm just saying what I believed.
Mm.
And that, even to this day, is hard, because for me, he was more than just this king of pop. I thought the world of him. And it's disappointing. People, and that's the thing with people who, with all of us, we flesh and blood, we're gonna disappoint.
Yeah.
He's not perfect. He's nothing about him was perfect, except his moonwalk, right? I mean, that's it. But so your question is a great question. It's certainly it's a battle, and that's why you see journalists, when they're too close to a subject, they should hand it off to another journalist. It's like prosecutors, if they're too close to something, they should give it to another prosecutor. Police officers investigating, detectives investigating, they're too close. You just don't investigate friends or family. Right? Doctors don't operate on friends and family. It's just too dicey.
Yeah.
So in that situation, it was just a hard thing. And then you had people, not just the people I worked for, but you had other media coming at me wanting to do stuff. And I mean, when he died, oh my gosh, you would have thought that I was one of his family members. The way we had cameras come to my home, we had camera crews from the BBC, Sky News, ABC News, Good Morning America, Today. I mean, if you go back to 2009, every show imaginable, man, every other day, if not every day, I was in a limo going to New York to do CNN or ABC, or Good Morning America, Barbara Walters, The View, and this. It was just. After a while, my wife and I was like, we got to get away. So we went, we did. We was able to go to St. Thomas for a week and just get away from it. It was just crazy. So I can only imagine. I remember Phil Griffin, who was the vice president, or the president, not the vice president, the president of MSNBC and NBC News. Now, I had already left MSNBC when Michael died. I worked for MSNBC from '03, the end of '02 to '06, March of '06. So he died in June of '09. And I remember Phil Griffin calling me up. My wife and I were in the park. There was a concert in the park, a local band. We were in Pennsylvania. And he calls me up. He goes, "I need you out in California." I said, "Phil, I'm not doing that anymore." I said, I just can't do it. I said, this is a really bad time. People calling left and right. He's dead. I haven't even digested the fact that he's dead. And he goes, "Stacy, I will send you a check literally, and you fill it in yourself." I said,
Wow.
wow. I said,
Wow.
but I
Wow.
had to turn it down though, because I said to him, I said, "Phil, me and the family are not getting along, and they just lost him." I said, I can't do that to them. I gotta respect the fact that we don't have, if you send me out there, I'm not going to talk to the family. I'm not even going to attempt to talk to the family, because the chasm that was there, it would be wrong at that time. They're trying to bury Michael.
Yeah.
And he was so livid. And before that, I could call him up even after I left MSNBC. Like I call him, I want to interview Al Roker, he gets Al Roker. I want to interview this person, he gets this person. I want to talk to you about this. He anytime. After I turned him down, I could never reach him again. To this day, I could never reach this guy. But I had to do it. I had to do it. It wasn't about money, because I would have taken that check and filled in all types of crazy numbers. So, I mean, shoot, me and Memphis would be rolling with Chuck somewhere right now.
Man, you've met so many interesting, phenomenal people. You know, like your job is like super awesome, because like I mean, it takes you to like different cities, different states, different, being in different environments and everything like that. So like, who is the person that you've met that we all probably know that was like your favorite person meeting, like celebrity wise?
You know what? As hard as that question sounds, it's very easy. Do you remember? I know you're gonna remember him, Memphis, because I know you're a big fan of Bill Cosby. But do
Mm-hmm.
you remember his movie with Sidney Poitier, Uptown Saturday Night,
Yes.
and the character Lil Seymour?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, that guy. When I met him at an event. It was David Guest. I don't know if anybody remembers David Guest, a big time producer. He married Liza Minnelli for a little while. Um, but he had a big thing. He was doing some event. They was giving out these awards, and Whitney, and you name them. They were all a part of this. And I met him there. And him and his brother were twins. They were dancers.
Mm-hmm.
And I met Harold Nichols, and I met him. We were actually going to the restroom, and at the time it was a break in the show, and at first he thought he knew me. He's like, "Oh, how you doing? Long time." I said, "We don't know each other," and he's a little guy too, right? I'm like, "We don't know each other." I said, "But I said I know you from the movies." He said, "Well, what movie is that? Which one you know?" And I said, "Well, I know you did a lot of things before this, you and your brother, or whatever." You know about that? Yeah, I like the classic. He said, "Classics? You trying to say I'm old?" He says, he's picking on my case. But I said, "No, Uptown Saturday Night. You're Lil Seymour." And it's like, he said, you know what he said when I said, "You're Lil Seymour"? He said, "You're damn right I am." I said, "Oh." We got to talking. And it was one of those things, like he got my number, and he would call
guys,
me up.
hold that thought, Stacy. We have a caller. Let's see who it is. 647. Who is this?
You're on the Memphis Joke Show.
647. Who we got?
nights when you got nobody.
Yeah.
They changed their mind.
Something might be wrong with their phone.
Oh, they changed their mind.
Oh wow.
But the thing about it was that he he was so cool. He would call me up and, what are you doing? Let's hang out. Let's hang out. We haven't hung out. It's like, but he was such a nice guy. We'd have some great conversations. But I used to fear that all I wanted to talk about was Uptown Saturday Night, but he didn't mind. He didn't mind. My thing was, it was always like, what was it like? I mean, working with Cosby, working with Sidney Poitier, working with Harry Belafonte and all those guys, Richard Pryor. He was fascinated that I was fascinated, and so it was so he was probably my favorite to just talk to. Oh, I hit a phone.
Hello.
Oh, sorry. 647.
647. Yeah. Hi. How you doing?
Hi. How are you?
Hi. How are you? I'm great. Thank you. I'm enjoying the show. And I also want to say a big shout out to you, Memphis, and thank you.
Oh no, what's happening?
That's a great.
I'm sorry. Could you? I'm so sorry. Is this Paula Latane? Hello?
Hello?
Is this Paula Latane?
No.
It's not.
No.
I can't. Your phone is like going in and out. Can you?
Is this the Memphis show?
Yes, this is the Memphis Joke Show.
You own it.
Oh. Oh, hi. I'm calling to say hi to my cousin Stacy Brown.
Awesome. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Jersey.
Nice.
Uh-oh.
Jersey.
Tori's on
Is
the
that
line.
Tori?
Yes.
Hey, Tori.
New Jersey is in the
I'm
building.
probably, my grandson is here listening with me, and he's hearing you name all these names, Michael Jackson, and he said he better show me proof he know him.
Well, I can't show any proof now because Michael's gone, unfortunately.
Uh-huh.
Oh gosh, Tori, it's great to hear from you, though. That's for sure.
I know, we got to get together.
Yeah, absolutely. We come up. And look, we turning this into a private family conversation, Memphis. I don't mean to do that, but
No, it's cool. No. We all family. We're all family on the Memphis
We are
Joke
real
Show.
family.
Yep.
yes. But we
Awesome.
come up like we come up a lot for like the Garden, go to Knicks and Ranger games and stuff like that. We gotta catch up.
Well, I'm gonna send you something privately that we're having, so you and the family can come.
Sounds like a plan. And listen, you tell Danielle I said hi. I think about her, and make sure you tell her I said hello.
I sure will, and we love you.
We love you too.
Thank you for calling in. Thank
That's
you.
a nice surprise.
You're welcome.
Yes. That
No
was
problem. I'm always watching.
awesome. Okay.
Man,
Have a good night.
that was
You too.
Okay.
that was awesome, Memphis.
Awesome. Oh, that is
Totally
awesome.
awesome.
So it was like someone else was on the phone, and then I guess. See, Stacy, you got everybody calling in. It was too many calls coming at once, so I accidentally pressed the button, and it went to another call. And I'm just like, "Whoa!" We just
You got the right one. You got the right one.
Paula Latang, if you out there, call back because we played your video earlier, but she was thinking that we were going to play it on Eastern time.
Oh, okay.
No, we're on Central. Yeah.
gonna tell somebody I never met in person, but was my favorite celebrity interview. I did it on the phone. Was Al Green, the singer.
Nice.
Oh
Memphis,
man,
Tennessee.
yeah. I mean, he was absolutely. It was. I think we spoke for like an hour and 15 minutes, and he was just so. I was working for the Times Tribune in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and
Mhm.
he had a show coming up in Wilkes-Barre, which was up the road, and he was just talking about everything, and I got so loose, like I was teasing him about the whole grit story and hot grit story and everything. I mean, we just
Yes.
kicked it, and and he was like, "Are you coming to the show?" And I said, "Unfortunately, they got me covering something that night." I said, "But I got two coworkers, Kathy and Lisa. They going to the show. They bought tickets. In fact, they're gonna be at like near the front row." And he was like, I'm gonna call them out. I said, "For real?" So gave him their whole name, right? And
Mhm.
so and we still talk. He's like, "What's your favorite song?" And my favorite Al Green song is "For the Good Times," right?
Come on. Oh my goodness. Come on. You're gonna make me put that on as soon as we get out
Oh
of here.
man, you ever see him sing that? I think it was Johnny Carson's show. It was a late night show years ago, and oh my gosh, you talk about a performance. That man, I mean, I know it's his song, but Memphis, that dude tore it up. I implore anybody to look up Al Green singing "For the Good Times" live. It was I think it was Johnny Carson's show or somebody's show. It was a late night show. I mean, he rocked the house with that song. And so anyway, I said, "Nah," I said, "I wish I could be there." Whatever. He says, I'll get you, I'll get you tickets. And what I said, "No, unfortunately, they got me covering something with." I told him Kathy and Lisa was going to be there. And so I'm at it was a city council meeting that I had to cover, and it was a big city council meeting. And so Kathy calls me. There's the phone.
Hold that thought. Kathy calls. Kathy calls you. Hold on 1 second. You got everybody calling. 647. Who is this?
Hey, it's Paula Latang. How are you doing, Memphis?
Hey, how you
doing? we finally got through.
Yes, and
I am doing great. I'm doing great. No, thank you. Thank you for sharing the song. DJ spin that song again. I really appreciate it. And I'm really enjoying the show. There's references to the Victory Tour, which I actually went and saw in Toronto here in Canada. And the song has references, of course, to Jackson 5 because, they were part of my childhood and just, references to that. I'm really enjoying listening to the gossip about the Jacksons.
Awesome.
You know why? Because the thing about it is, right, when you're on the outside and you're looking in, you have your own ideas of what could possibly be or what it is. But, we're listening here to Stacy and he's like telling it the other side of the story that, right, that the regular folk don't really know. So it's great. I'm loving it because I was a huge Jackson fan, still am. As a matter of fact, the Jacksons came to Toronto last year and I went to see them. So yeah, I'm all over that. So they had to be in the song. They had to be in the song somewhere, somehow.
Wow.
I hope they keep performing. When they finally decided to perform again a few years ago, I remember emailed Jermaine saying like, "Look, I am so happy for y'all." It's something that they had wanted to do for a long time when Michael was alive, and I was hoping to do it when he was alive. They didn't want to. They didn't have the drive to do it without him. Now they're forced to do it without him. But it's great to see. It really is. I mean, look, who of us really can say that we were not fans of the Jacksons?
Exactly. Hey, Paula, could you turn your radio?
Don't know
could you turn
anybody.
your the show down in the background because we're getting an echo.
Oh, you know what? I think it's my phone has a problem with that sometimes. Is that better?
Yes. Oh yeah. That's better.
Yeah. Okay.
Go
Much
ahead.
better. Okay, great. I don't think there's any, well, I mean, I guess there could be, but I think it'd be hard to find somebody who doesn't like the Jacksons or wasn't influenced by something they did, whether it was seeing a concert or watching their TV show or anything, having posters of them on the wall. I don't know. I think it would be hard to find somebody that wasn't influenced in some way.
I always remember
I
you talk
was.
about posters on the wall. I always remember like my sister's room. Yeah, if you probably remember this too. Like Michael Jackson in this yellow shirt. I think it was like the Pretty Young Thing song
Yeah.
or whatever. He used to have that poster on the wall and stuff like that. But you're right. Influence is everywhere when it comes to the Jacksons, not just Michael. My thing with the brothers was that I always said this: if you have to give the brothers their props. You know why? Anybody who can share the stage and hang with Michael, you got to give them their props. And the brothers did that for years.
Exactly. I say the same thing.
They did, and you know I'm going to reference DJ Spin That Song again, only because really it's about giving people their props and those legacy artists that have really been out there, and they're coming back, which is amazing. I think COVID actually did a little bit of a favor. People were hungry for really good music again, and a lot of these artists are out there and they're coming back and they're making their mark and they're being introduced to a whole new audience, and people like the Jacksons certainly bring that along because people attach themselves to the older artists, or the legacy ones might do a show with that person and then another person gets to know about them, and so on and so on. So, legacy artists are out there and they're making their mark, and I think it's fabulous. So I had to recognize them.
I'm glad that you recognize them in that song. Also, that you just don't get really great music like that, like not through the mainstream anymore. You have to find it. So can you tell everybody where they can find DJ Spin That Song again?
Oh, yeah, certainly. They can check it out on Spotify. I've got the YouTube video up there. It's on, for those that download, I know that a lot of people mostly do streaming, but for those that do, it's on Amazon and iTunes, and it's just about everywhere. Yeah, it's great. And I love the response, and some of the artists, and I'm not going to say names, have got back to me and said how much they really appreciate it, and I just wanted to do something that kind of reminded me of the days when music was great and who was actually doing that for me. And it was so many of these artists that I listed in this song that did that for me. Yeah. Yay to the legacy artists. Woo!
Yes. Well,
That song is
Stacy's
nice.
man,
That
Stacy's
song
met
is-
like so many people. Like, you've met the president, Stacy.
Yeah, we it's so funny because so I met the different presidents I've met. I met Obama, but he wasn't yet president, right? I met Hillary. Well, she was not president, but my wife and I had dinner at the mayor's mansion in Pennsylvania with Bill Clinton.
Wow.
When Hillary was first running against Obama. And that's when I met Obama too. I met him at a diner actually in Scranton, Pennsylvania. He had come to a diner there. We got wind that he was going to be there, me and a photographer. Now he was traveling at the time with the media bus behind him, but we was in the restaurant because we had gotten the tip that's where they were going to stop. And so he came in first and we got a chance to talk with him and everything. It was nice, but I had not gotten a chance to speak to him after that. And of course, I met 45 and of course Biden. I met Biden when he was running.
You said 45.
Yeah, they don't like they don't like saying his name. Black press, like a lot of guys in the black press be like, oh, 45. I just say it's Trump, but I was in South Carolina with Trump. He was at Mike Benedict College. I had to go to a thing there with him when he was president. But met Biden a couple of times now, and the last time was just a few months ago. My first time ever in the Oval Office. That was pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that was super.
Wow.
That
Oh
he and Vice
man.
President Kamala Harris was there together. It was, I was there. Roland Martin was there. A few other journalists was there. Black journalists, and got a chance to and I saw you had the picture of that too. So,
Uh-huh.
I was like,
Yeah. Yep. I was like, goodness grief. I mean, it's just you've met so many people. I couldn't figure out which picture to post.
but the funniest thing though, like my cousin was saying, like her son's like, I want to see proof or whatever. The one thing that I took some pictures like with the Jacksons from time to time, but the one thing I never wanted to do, never liked doing was the pictures and I never me and autographs. I was not, people would offer me first time I met Smokey Robinson, for instance, he was like, do you want my autograph? I was like, nah, I just don't want your autograph. I don't want people's autograph. It's like, I feel like that's like almost like an act of worship when you asking somebody for their I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm glad you're touching on that because starstruckness to me, I don't know, it depends on who I meet. Like I've met celebrity, a couple of celebrities, not a whole lot, but I met some to where they seem just normal, like regular people to me. But when I met Chuck D, I almost like froze in my boots. Like, yo,
that's my guy.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh snap.
Chuck says a lot of great things about you. We've talked about you, Memphis, and Chuck is, and Chuck he's a real one, as they say. I mean, a real one. He will tell you. He will tell you no lies. He will not tell you anything to gas you up or whatever. Chuck is Chuck, and he was the first one who told me about mr.jelks.
Wow!
I was like, man.
He told me don't quit. He told me don't quit my day job when he signed.
That's funny.
He said this ain't no fairy tale ending.
Keep working.
Yeah, keep working.
Keep working.
Matter of fact, work harder now.
but pictures and autographs was never my thing. I used to sit with Stevie Wonder a lot. We used to go to his mom's house. We used to eat dinner, whatever, and he would say sometimes too, like, do you want me to sign anything? No, I don't want you to sign anything. What if you're gonna sign anything, sign a check. That's my name on it. He's an interesting guy. The funniest thing that I experienced with Stevie, we would talk, and they had this summer jam, right? And it was Power 106, Big Boy out in California, LA, and they had the Superfest or whatever. And Stevie, it was all rappers. And so we sitting down one night, we at the table. Stevie's like, Stacy, I'm going to do a rap song. And I said, yeah, okay, whatever, right? And he's like, no, I'm serious. He said, I'm gonna be on Summer Jam. I said, Stevie, you're not gonna be on Summer Jam or Superfest, whatever. He's like, no, I am. He says, I bet you anything. I said, all right, Steve, let's bet. I don't bet, but he's like $100. I said, all right, you on? I said, because you're not going out there rapping. I said, if anything, you'll go out there. They'll probably give you a standing ovation because of who you are. Blah blah blah. Watch. Wow. He kept saying watch. Right. So every time I see him, this is like he started telling me this like 2 months before Summer Jam, right? And so as we got closer, I was like, Stevie, you might as well pay up now. He's like, no, you might as well pay up. He said, I tell you what. So this is like 3 weeks before the show or 2 weeks before the show. And he goes, they're gonna start advertising that there's gonna be a special legendary celebrity guest, right? I was like, oh, whatever. He probably already heard the advertisement. For sure enough, they was advertising that there was going to be this special legendary guest. So I started getting a little nervous. I was like, I gotta pay Stevie Wonder $100. But he said, no. He said, you gonna come? I said, no, I don't do that. I just can't, because I wasn't big. I like Ice Cube, and Snoop, of course, is a legend, but I was never big on West Coast rap, right? And this was about West Coast stuff, Mac 10, all those guys. And I was like, nah, I'm not going. He said, well, why don't you just come? He said, go with me. I said, nah, I'm not going, Steve. So anyway, he says, you're gonna pay me my money, right? I was like, Steve, you're not performing. I said, you're not performing. So I'm driving down the street. It's Summer Jam. You know, they broadcast on the radio. And it just so happened, someone told me to turn the radio on. And about, I turned it on. I forget who was performing. And then somebody was talking. They're talking. And they get into, I'm like, okay, they about to bring in their special legendary guest, right? So I get home, I pull over because I don't want to leave the car because I got to hear this, right? And they said, Stevie Wonder. I was like, oh, shoot, he's really there. And then I'm like, okay, let me see what he gonna do. I'm stuck. I was blown away because he got up there, and you know he has a song on the Jungle Fever soundtrack where he actually raps, right? And I didn't think about it at the time. There's like he does this little rap or whatever. Sure enough, Stevie gets on that stage and like, you know, I'm gonna teach y'all youngins this and that, or whatever. And he starts, you know, he spits a few bars or whatever. So you know. So you know I wasn't eager to see him, right? Not eager to see him. Oh man, he called because Stevie would call me. It'd be 3 a.m, right? And I had to go to work. I had, like Chuck said, don't quit your day job, right? So I would have to get up like 6:30 in the morning, and he would call like 3 o'clock or whatever. My wife be like, you know who's calling. When the phone rings, we wake up. You know who's calling. I was like, yeah, I can only. It's Stevie, right? And Stevie would want to talk. Stevie, I'm not like you. You know, you don't have to work another day ever. I gotta go to work. And sure enough, so that night I'm like, okay, I know Stevie's gonna call, whatever. I was like, oh gosh, I know you're gonna call. What am I gonna say? Wait, because he got me. He doesn't call me that night. So I was like, oh shoot, reprieve, right? And so I got a friend of mine named Benny. We together, we at the bowling alley, and so his mom called. She's like, why don't you come and have some dinner? I said, all right, Lula, I got a friend with me. I don't care, bring your friend. And so we go around. I said, Benny, you want to meet? She said, Steve's here. I said, Benny, you want to meet Stevie Wonder? Of course I want to meet Stevie Wonder. And Benny tells me to this day. Now, Benny was because he was a good friend of mine's son. So I used to, hang out with him and stuff. And he tells me to this day, Benny's like 40-something years old now. And he tells me to this day, people still don't believe that night happened. So we go over there. Wow. And Stevie's like, y'all sit down and eat, whatever. And so we do, and he has an assistant named Steve. And Steve, afterwards, because Stevie was telling me, I got to talk to you. I said, hopefully it ain't about Summer Jam. He said, no, seriously, it's about the book. Because, again, I was writing a book with him and his mom. And I was like, okay. And so Steve says to me, you better brace yourself. You better sit tight because he's going to go to that piano. His mother had this beautiful baby white piano in the middle of the living room. He sits at the piano. He knows my favorite song is I Wish, right? And so he's playing all this music, right? He said, I'm going to test out some new stuff and this and that. And he's playing some of the old stuff. He starts at about 10 o'clock. It was like midnight when he finished, right?
Whoa.
He and Vinny, his mom and his assistant Steve got a private Stevie Wonder concert. And we all always talk about that. And to this day, I said, that's my fondest memory of Stevie Wonder is the fact that he gave me and my little buddy a private concert. It wasn't intentional because he was just trying out some new stuff and he threw on some old stuff. And because he knew I was getting restless. So he's like, Stace, he said, this is for you. And he starts playing I Wish. And I was like, oh man. So I just sat down and just said, you know what? Chalk this one up. I'm enjoying it. So he losing the bet because he knew I was.
That's amazing.
At first, when you said he was gonna rap, I thought he was gonna do the Gangsta's Paradise.
He did it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I know there's a little bit of a delay, so I'm trying to make sure that I don't talk over you. But I was just curious within this concert that you were, this impromptu concert. Were there any songs that were brand new that maybe hadn't been heard before that eventually ended up on an album, and you were like, I was there for that, or were they all classics?
They were all brand new stuff that he said he was trying out, but I can't tell you for the life of me the name of any of those songs, for several reasons. One, I really wanted the book was so important, and we were at a critical stage, and I really didn't want him to do that. I didn't want him to do what he did. And like I said, I didn't start really enjoying it, or let me put it this way, I didn't start really enjoying it until he did I Wish, and then I didn't really appreciate it until later. That, man, what was I thinking? This legend had basically allowed me into a listening session on his new material. Yeah. And the funniest thing with Stevie Wonder is, like, Stevie doesn't put out an album like Prince put out an album every other day, right? It seems like it's every other day. Right. Yes. Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder, Michael would put out an album every 4 years, right? It'd be like 4 years, 5 years before. And Stevie wasn't any better. Stevie said to me one day, I was at Neverland Ranch, and I came back from Neverland, and we were talking. Stevie and I was at his house, at his mother's house, I should say. I was never at his house, but we was at his mother's house. And Stevie said, we were talking. Michael came up and I said, I was just at Neverland. He said, let me ask you a question. He said, why don't you tell Michael, what is he waiting for to put out a new album? This was around 1998, 1999, right? And he said, he's just taking too long. And I said to him, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? I said, when are you putting out something new? and so this, I guess, again, in the moment you tend to miss stuff. Like, you ever watch a movie and then you go back and watch it a second, third time, and every time you watch it, you see something. In the moment, I could not see what Stevie was doing, right? And then later I got to appreciate.
He was letting you in.
Letting me in. I was like, daggone it.
Yeah.
So that's a shame that I cannot tell you the name of any of those songs, because he was playing them as all one, really, because he never stopped playing that piano. And I was like, oh my gosh. It was just incredible. I mean, obviously he's one of the greatest to ever do it. And so, it was one of those things I'll never forget. And so on the Memphis Joke Show, I'm about to tell y'all something too. So that book is called Exclusive. That book is called Blind Faith: The Miraculous Journey of Lula Hardaway and her son Stevie Wonder. It was first released in 2002 as a hardback, and then released as a paperback in 2007. Well, here we are in 2023, and Al Roker Entertainment just signed to do a movie on that book. So,
Congratulations.
Wow.
Nice.
That's major.
Congratulations. That is major.
Fantastic.
So hopefully, Angela Bassett is not done with portraying famous moms.
Angela, if you're watching the Memphis Joke Show, you got to make it happen.
Yeah,
request.
The producers seem to want Viola Davis, but Lula Hardaway told us that she wanted Angela Bassett to play her, and she told us this long before she died. She would always say, "I want Angela Bassett to play," and I hope that comes true. It is my sincere.
We do too.
Oh, I hope so for her.
Yeah,
we do too. That is amazing.
We just got the check.
Most important part.
That's the autograph you're looking for.
Al Roker's signature on the bottom of the check. I was like, man, my man Al.
We might be able to go hang out with Chuck after all this. Stacy.
Look, That's that's what I'm saying. But yeah, so we are looking forward to it. I know there's a lot of work to be done because it's not just it's not just them taking the book and going from the book. You got to have a screenwriter and all of that, which is what they have been doing of late, narrowing down who they're going to hire as the screenwriter. So
Mhm.
we are extremely excited. So, and
We're
I'm
excited
like,
for you.
yeah, I'm like the impatient type though. It's like I want it to go from A to Z right now. I want the movie to come. I want them to do the movie
Right.
today and come out tomorrow.
See, that's why me and you are such good friends, man. Because we both are. I see there. I see a pattern. I see a pattern.
Like, about all that work got to go into it. Forget about all that. Just do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Get
tomorrow.
it done.
Listen, I want to
Yeah.
get a fun festival. I want to, I was talking to my wife. She's like, "Yeah, we gotta get you a tuxedo, a tailor made." She's talking about because I got a tuxedo, but she wants a tailor made one. $5,000.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't pay that much money for that. She's like, "No, for occasion like that, you're gonna walk the red carpet. You're gonna have to tailor everything." She wants the very best. I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the,
Well, I
you're-
can't wait for it. Congratulations.
You're definitely, man. You're worthy of it. You're worthy of it. We can't thank you enough for being on the show tonight,
Mhm.
Stacy. Man,
I appreciate you having me, Memphis.
Yeah.
Listen, y'all better get hip to Memphis real quick. 'Cause when those hits start dropping left and right, I mean they already dropping, but when he start to hit the top of the charts like he should, it's gonna be on.
Yeah.
and then Chuck gonna be looking for us.
Right.
He's gonna be like, where they go? Where they done went?
Hey, you're gonna be able to quit your job and say, "Chuck, I did quit my job."
I can't wait.
We talk a lot about Chuck, but Chuck is really, y'all got to understand who Chuck D really is. That dude is just, he's the best thing that ever happened to hip hop. And I'm not
Yep.
saying the most talented. He was on my show one time with LL, right?
Mhm.
And I had the privilege. Well, I won't call it the privilege, and LL won't call it the privilege either. But I went to high school with LL, right? And we would he was on my show. We was talking about it. We was talking about Andrew Jackson High School, and he was like, "Yeah." I said, "LL, but you never went to class." He said, "Nope, I never went to class." See, he didn't have a problem with admitting that. But LL, there's nobody in my opinion, between LL and Rakim, those are, as far as rappers are concerned, those are like they are the GOATs, right? But
They are.
Chuck, but Chuck is all of hip hop, the conscience of hip hop. He is everything that hip hop should be, and then more.
Exactly.
I'll say that if I can say that it's Canadian Music Week this week, and apparently Chuck D is actually going to be speaking tomorrow on the first day of, and he'll be speaking at a hip hop presentation. So unfortunately, I won't be able to attend, but I hope that they do record it because I'd love to watch it and hear what he has to say about the 50 years of hip hop, of course, coming up in August. So
now, see, there you go, Memphis. Now,
you know,
but you know that they just put out a release. Just was yesterday, the day before yesterday. Chuck is supposed to be in Minneapolis this week too for the post.
Wow.
Hey, Memphis, what is he doing? Is he fooling us? He got a private jet or something?
He has to have a private jet now because he's like a robot. I mean, he just came out. He just dropped a book.
Yeah,
and
right.
then he's always on tour. And then he's
got the app. Remember he's got the app.
Yeah, he released the app the other day, the Bring the Noise app, which I have. If y'all go to Bring the Noise app and y'all download it, follow me on there. mr.jelks is on that joint. He said this ain't Chuck D's app, this hip hop's app. And he means it. I mean, and that's the truth. It is. He said it's culture. It's a culture app. He said it's not. He said it's not social media. It's culture media. So everybody go download the Bring the Noise app. You know, the CEO spearheaded by Chuck D. And he did all that. And now he at Prince's house. He at Prince's house tonight eating pancakes.
Wow.
And don't forget the radio stations. Oh,
Yep.
God, everything going on.
Radio.
Voiceovers,
He's even gonna.
document-
Yeah, he's even gonna come on the Memphis Jelks show.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
At some point, yeah. At some point, if I can, get him, he's always busy. Chuck is super duper busy.
Trying to pin him down in front of a camera is hard, right?
Definitely, yeah. we have meetings, like we have record label meetings, and he's there. They be remote, so he gives us all this knowledge and game and stuff, man, and shit. He inspired me to do this podcast. He said, y'all are multi-talented. Y'all don't just need to put all y'all eggs in one basket. He's like, create different kind of content. Use your talents, because we're in a world. He said it's sight, sound, and what did he say? He said it. He always says this is music these days. It's more than just like listening to it from the radio. They see it first. Mm-hmm. He said people are screen agers. He calls people screen agers.
Hey, do you ever see his paintings, his drawings?
Mm-hmm.
He did one of me.
Yeah.
I have it as a screensaver too. He did it. Was it a year or so ago?
Wow.
A couple years ago. He did one of me, and it was so funny because I didn't know he was doing it. We were just talking, and he's just going on, and I didn't even see him. And he was like, "Here." I was like, "Oh shoot." I went at screensaver. That guy, and that guy got so much talent, and it's not just lyrics. It's not just music. He is, he's a graphic artist.
Man, his brother Eric, he got a brother named Eric, and I be following him on social media. He said he didn't even know his brother could rap until after the first album came out. He said he know his brother used to draw all the time. He said he had never heard him even rap before until like Yo Bum Rush the Show dropped. I'm like, dang. So you was living with Chuck D every day of your life.
You know what?
You didn't even know he could rap.
But you know what that reminds me of? I was talking to and many people who love Prince know Brown Mark. He used to be Prince's guitarist, his bass, with the Revolution. And I was talking to him last year, I think it was. We got together a couple of times, and he was telling me that when he was in the Revolution, and they did all the big hits together and stuff. He said that he did not tell his kids that he either worked with Prince or knows Prince, right? He said that his daughter, I think she may have been 17, 18 years old at the time, or his son, Mark's son. He said that they were at school during the Purple Rain tour, and somebody had a poster, Purple Rain, Prince and the Revolution. And that was the first time that his kids recognized that he was in the Revolution. And he said his kids said to him, "How come you didn't tell us Prince was our uncle?" I said, "Mark, I'd have been pissed off too. You've been with Prince all these years." And that was his method of keeping them out of it, keeping them out of the spotlight, don't putting any pressure on them and things like that. I'm like, listen, put the pressure on me.
I know that's right. Yeah, I might could get a couple of more girls' phone numbers.
Exactly.
Make me hot.
Dude, like, Dad, you know what? I hope Mom leaves you and gets child support from you. Like, I mean, come on. How you gonna keep that from your kids until they like in high school? Oh man,
Oh
he told me
man.
that I was mad for his kids. Like, you know what? This discussion is over, Mark. He was laughing. He's like, "Yeah, that was just the way he did it to protect them." But you know what? When you think about it, you can't hate on that because people go crazy, especially if you attach to a celebrity that type, that height.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody at Prince. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can see why he would do that. I can see it.
Oh
I can
yeah.
see it. You know, same with the Jacksons, but the problem with the Jacksons is they all look alike. You know, black people all look alike. No, they all look like
Yeah, they have
Joseph.
strong genes, very strong
All look like
genes.
Joseph. All the way down to the grandkids. I'm telling you, they all look like Joseph.
Oh yeah, man, we could
Wow.
go on all night, man. I'm just so excited to have you here on the show, and I thank you so much, Stacy. You just don't know, bro.
I mean,
Thank
I
you so
appreciate
much, man. We didn't even get into. We both have a mutual friend, Dr. Cosby.
Cosby dance. When I saw the
Cosby
Cosby
dance.
dance, I saw that. I was like, oh snap. And you know, it was so funny because I did talk to Mr. Cosby when that hit.
Mhm.
And Andrew, you know, Andrew always facilitates that. Andrew Wyatt, Andrew's so cool. And you know, I talked to him and Mr. Cosby. They were like so over the moon about the Cosby dance. That song, I'm sure, you know, it wouldn't surprise me. Is right now, 10:26 p.m. Eastern time in the Cosby home, they playing the Cosby dance. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me.
Man, when I made that song, man, I think I was on the phone with Mecca. That's a guy that's one of our homies, me and old homie, and I met him through Chuck D. He lives in Atlanta. Shout out to Mecca too. But yeah, we were on the phone one night, you know, because I had made a song like when Dr. Cosby at first got locked up. You know, I was just like, it hit me so hard, man. It was just like, this can't be real. So I made this record. And then I prayed that night before I went to sleep. I was like, man, I'm going to put this record out like on my website and on Twitter and Bandcamp and stuff. But I said a prayer before I went to sleep that hopefully one day he may hear that song. Because it was like, you know, it was like emotional. I was like devastated that they were locking him up.
Yeah. You know,
My hero, one of my childhood, like, you know, heroes. I mean, still like, you know, like it's just like unbelievable. Like, what? No way. But anyway,
that was sad.
the next day I woke up, you know, went to work like normal and everything. And all of a sudden, man, I get this phone call and it was like, from a, you know, an out of state number. And then they were like, hey, they told me their name and then they said, Camille Cosby and company heard the record that you did about Dr. Cosby. And so give us a call. Call this. They gave me a number to call like when I got off work that day. I'm at work. I'm like, how can I work after a call like this? So anyway, I got off work. I was excited as heck. I got home. I called the number and everything. And then they were like, you know, Dr. Cosby and them heard the song. You know, I think Camille must have played it for him over the phone or something. And they just start breaking down these rules to me. They were telling me like, if media tries to contact you and stuff, go ahead and let your family know now and stuff, because media may try to destroy your character, you know, as well, you know. So let your family know, like if they hear from the media or anything, you know, let them be pre-warned and stuff, because we're about to post this song on all of Dr. Cosby's social media pages and stuff.
Wow.
So they posted the song on his Twitter page. They posted it on his Facebook page. They posted it on his Instagram page. So you're talking millions and millions and millions of people. My phone just started going.
Wow.
I had to turn my phone off. It's just going. Boop, 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 I'm just like, oh my God, this is really like happening. So anyway, he was got incarcerated and everything, and then all of a sudden they, which I always felt like they didn't have enough evidence to give him that amount of time. I mean, I've never said I know whether or not he did it or not, or I just don't get into that because I wasn't there, and I don't think nobody was probably there but him and the people. I guess I'm not going to say somebody's lying. This person is. I don't know, but all I do is I just say, man, like this is like a father figure to me. This is a person that I try to just speak on all of his positive qualities. You know what I mean? Like y'all can have the negative stuff because y'all don't even know if he did the negative stuff. So.
Unfortunately, the trial left us not really knowing, and because the trial was about one person, it wasn't about the other accusers. It was just one accuser, and that she admitted that they were in a relationship. So it was when you under oath, it's a big deal, and you could say what you want to the media, you could say what you want to us, your friends, your family, whoever. But when you get under oath, it's serious. And for the most part, the truth tends to come out. And a lot of, and again, I'm with you, Memphis. We wasn't there. But this was about one case and one case, one person and one person only. It wasn't about 50 women. It was about one. That's what the public doesn't understand, that when they took him to trial, it was about Andrea Constant. It wasn't about these other people. It was just about the one person. And the Andrea Constant thing, the first jury, they had a hung jury. They had a 10-2 split, 10 to acquit and 2 to convict. Of course, the second trial came back, guilty, but it had a lot of issues too that the Supreme Court eventually said, look, that wasn't right. It just wasn't right. So we are throwing this out and he's free. And what really people overlook, they say, well, technicality, but what they overlooked was the fact that not only did the Supreme Court, this is their words, say it was an illegal trial, but they also made a ruling that the prosecution could not try him again. They couldn't go after him again, and they were forbidden. And even with that ruling, they tried to go to the U.S. Supreme Court, and the U.S. Supreme Court shut them down too, the prosecution. So I just say that just to say that that trial had a lot of problems, none the least of which was the judge who, if I was there for every second of testimony, every second of jury selection, and I could, you hear these stories, these horror stories about the American justice system when it comes to African Americans in particular. But to witness what we witnessed, what I witnessed as a Black person, was really disturbing, because I just felt like, man, in this case with this particular accuser, if they could say, if the judge can do what he did there and really convince that jury, because the judge is just a judge, he's not supposed to have any say in the in the jury process, but he totally dominated that trial. And I just said, man, Bill Cosby is a person that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, fame, fortune, and everything. They could do that to him. Imagine what they could do to the Black man named Bill Smith. It was an eye-opening experience. It really was. And again, there's no testimony about the other accusers. We don't, like Memphis said, none of us was in the room. So, whatever their story is, whatever his defense is, whatever, we don't know.
I'm definitely not for anyone taking advantage of women at all. Right. Not at all.
Right. I got 4 girls.
Exactly, man. I got a daughter too. But a lot of people get it mixed up too. They think that he went to jail for raping somebody. He actually inappropriately touching.
Yeah.
Right. So who goes to jail for 10 years for inappropriately touching somebody?
And he had and look, along with that, no previous record, and an outstanding character record. Character meaning what the court considers character. All your charitable contributions, which HBCUs alone were the recipients of over $200 million from the Cosby family. United Negro College Fund, community things that he did. So you had no previous convictions, no bad character points against you, and you 80 years old and you still get 10 years.
That's a red flag alone for me.
For like you said, for touching and inappropriate and it was a situation where he said that they were touching each other. She says she doesn't remember that. She doesn't remember any of it. So the thing about it is, if you don't remember any of it, then how in the world does a prosecutor convince a jury that it happened? So even the so-called victim said, I don't know if I was touching him too. But she did testify. Her own testimony was that in previous occasions, she would get into bed with him. She would do this with him, do that with him. She got mad when he didn't want to get into bed with her one time, and she stormed out the room. So it was a really peculiar case for them to have tried. Maybe they should have tried another case, right? Because this one really had just, it was just not one that you would think anybody, I don't care who you are, that they would actually have to do 10 years behind.
Come on, they couldn't do another case though, because all the other cases, the statute of limitations were up.
They're changing all that now too,
right?
Right?
They're changing it just to take. It seems like they're changing it just to take Dr. Cosby's money though, because they're doing it in the states of L.A. and New York, knowing that that's where all the big, the big movie companies and stuff like that are. But I wanted to finish telling the story though, and we'll get back to that, because we got to get back to this whole 54 years ago you did something to me and now I'm suing you. 54 years ago. 54 years ago. Anyway.
Yeah. It's hard to fathom.
How can you prove that?
Right. That's where I was going. It's hard to fathom how you can prove it, how you can defend it.
Right. Oh, excuse me. Dang.
That's so. Now, if a person did that, if he did that, anybody did that, people say, well, it catches up with you, but it's not the way the criminal justice system was designed to operate.
And knowing they're changing laws just so that they can do that.
Yeah, you're really throwing out double jeopardy. You're trying to throw
double
that
jeopardy.
out.
Yeah.
So it's really that's why I always, in my reporting on that case, it was always with the caution that we have to be careful, even if you were convinced that he did something wrong, he did it. You still have to be very careful. This idea that a person is guilty until proven otherwise. They're never proven innocent. No one is ever proven innocent.
They're making you guilty until proven innocent, instead of the other way around.
Yeah, but the problem with that is, once, especially in this social media era, once there's an accusation, it can be the furthest thing from the truth, but it will stick with you forever now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very dangerous game. When I heard the former New York district attorney, and I don't know why his name is suddenly escaping me, but the one before the current one, Cyrus Vance, say, and I know he was feeling the satisfaction of prosecuting Harvey Weinstein. Successfully prosecuting Harvey Weinstein. So maybe that had something to do with what he said. But what he said was so dangerous. He said, and you can go back and look at it. News stations carried it everywhere. He said just an accusation should be enough for a conviction. That's the most scariest thing that
Oh man,
anybody,
come on.
especially if you look like me and you.
Right, because it's so in the past. There's been so many of us who've been just falsely accused. Like, let's say they were messing with a person of another who doesn't look like us, and then they get caught. They would hurry up and holler the R word,
Well, listen.
just so their parents and stuff wouldn't.
So Cyrus Vance, what you're saying is that Emmett Till deserved what he got.
Yeah.
Man,
Just the accusation, he said. That people say they were shook. Well, that was the one thing that shook me. I said, "Oh my gosh." Nobody challenging him on that?
Yeah, something has to be done about that.
Yeah. No one challenged him on that. They were, because the mainstream media was so, they was pushing the narrative too. They destroyed it, in my opinion, destroyed what the Me Too movement was all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Tawana Burke started that for a reason. It wasn't about Hollywood, but it was the white female actresses in Hollywood who co-opted that, like they co-opt so much, and everything else, and they turned that into a Hollywood casting couch thing. It wasn't about that. This was about the everyday woman at work being sexually harassed, right? Feeling pressure to do something with her boss to either keep her job, to get a promotion, or whatever. That's what that was about. That's what it should have been about. And they took it to the casting couch. And so they invited people, they campaigned. People forget, and again, I'm not saying these women are not telling the truth, but people forget Gloria Allred put out basically this whole release, this bounty basically, and said, Mr. Cosby put up $100 million. He should put up $100 million, and we're going to get him to put up $100 million, and we're going to go before a arbitrator and let an arbitrator decide. So anybody who wants a piece of this money, who've had any type of contact with Bill Cosby, come forward. And
that's when the floodgates were open.
And the shame of that is if he truly victimized someone, if there's a victim out there or victims out there, they got lost in the shuffle. The real ones got lost because of that whole bounty being out there and saying you can come get a piece of $100 million. And now you see everybody, all these people now saying, I want money. Right? He's got a new lawsuit.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The new lawsuit that they're going back 54 years ago to some lady saying he did something to her in 1969.
Right.
And they're allowing it to happen. So that means his lawyers and stuff have to defend that. How can it's just, and that costs money. You're talking when a person says something like that, and they're coming from millions, so you have to pay millions to not pay millions.
Right, you got to pay millions to not pay millions.
Just leave them alone. Dang, I mean, come on, leave Pops alone, man. What's up?
They can legitimately say, that look, y'all can say this, y'all can say that, but y'all, it didn't happen to y'all, and you're right. So we will never know how that feels.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I would be 50 years later, but I don't think that I would have held it in for 54 years though.
I don't either, and I don't think that I think statute of limitation laws were created for a reason. It's to protect the person who's being accused, and it's to protect the accuser, to give them a certain window to go ahead and get it done.
Yeah.
Then
well, that's why when I have these type of conversations,
you shouldn't be able to go back 54 freaking years.
But when I have these type of, I love to have these conversations with with women, because women tend to, you know, at least the women in my life, they tend to make sense. They tend to be able to put things in better perspective. So I'll just say that.
That's why I'm
You know,
glad that we have, you know, Paula Latang on the phone.
Hey.
Chime in. Well, and then after that, I haven't told y'all yet. I wanted to finish my story about how I did the Cosby dance song, and then Bill Cosby called me on the phone, and we talked for like an hour and a half. So, but anyway, all y'all comedians out there can lay it down too. He still got it. He had me on the floor rolling. I felt like I was watching an HBO special. All y'all comedians can lay it down, man. If y'all think Bill Cosby ain't the man and still got it, man, y'all. He just gotta. He just being, you know, he having to lay low right now because of, you know, all this crazy mess. But if he was to come back on that stage, man, everybody had to lay it down. It's a wrap. But what are your thoughts on that though, Paula? We would love to hear from a female's perspective.
Well, what I will say is that I'm trying not to get too political into too many things, but I think what I will say is that I would, at this point, I'm going to probably see what happens next with the upcoming case. To be honest, I wasn't really following it, so I really didn't even know until now that there was another case. So, yeah, I'm not in the room. I wasn't there. I can't speak for or against. Really, wasn't there. So
That's fair.
Don't really. Yeah, But I guess, yeah, as I said, I'm not really familiar with the fact that there wasn't even another one. So I just, you know, I think I just leave things to the court, and it's going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yep. Well said. Well, man, we could. I promise you, we could go all night, man. Because Stacy, you got to come back on. Stacy, you got to come back on. We got to do a part 2 of this, a to be continued.
You just let me know. You let me know.
I love the gossip, though. Thank you so much, Stacy. I've learned so much about so many of my. I know there's so much of a lot of my favorite artists, and you know, just people. I mean, I'm sure you've got stories about Shaka Khan or Dinah Ross, the Isley Brothers. Yep. I'm sure that is definitely a second show for you, Memphis. For sure.
You gotta come back, Stacy, man. It's too much. You got too much knowledge and too much experience and wisdom, man. To just one show ain't enough.
Well, let me just tell you this right quick. So people say, and you know this person, or you knew this person, or you got to do this with. There are so many of them, and we don't have to. We won't go into it tonight, but so many of them who I was huge fans of before I met them, and I wish, believe it or not, and especially in certain cases, that I never met these people. I would have rather just been a fan on the outside, looking in. And one, and you know, there was one person who I met the first time I met this. I won't say who this celebrity is, but the very first time I met him, I've never done drugs in my life, and will never do drugs in my life. But he offered me cocaine. I could not believe it. You don't know me from Adam, and he was. I think he was already high. Somebody introduced me to him. We were at a music festival. We were in his dressing room, and he was in there with probably about 4 or 5 other people. And I came in with someone that he knew and worked with, and they introduced. He's like, "Oh, hey," like he knew me forever. He's like, "Hey, Stacy, good to meet you." Whatever. He's like, "You want some?" And I was like, "No, I want to leave." that's what I want. I want to leave. but there's so many of, and this guy who I'm talking about, you may not be surprised, but you might be surprised. I mean, he's a huge name in the music business. But yeah, many of them I just I really wish I never met.
Oh,
And that's because I'm the type of
wow, that's
person.
interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm the type of person like I said, my producer says I'm petty. I kind of I don't forget, and I'm like
Mm.
stuff that just bothers me. Um, why can't they be like Chuck? Why can't they be like Memphis? Just
Mhm.
normal. You know,
Yeah.
Well, you know I'm the one and only. So, oh, well, I thought I was before my horns didn't blow.
the horn didn't
My horns didn't blow. See, doggone, it messed up my whole swag. Dang, man, man. See, so you might want to get somebody who's a little bit better than me, Stacy. My buttons ain't working.
Oh gosh, no, but that's just the way it is. I would have rather just remain a fan from the outside, because now it's
Wow,
like some cases I'm
Mm.
like I can care less about you, dude.
man, it's been an honor and a blessing. Stacy, man, you're welcome to come on the show anytime you want to, man.
You
Anytime you
just
want
let
to
me
just
know. I'm
talk
telling
or
you, honestly, you let me know, Memphis, because
thank you.
I
Thank
can't
you.
see how anybody gonna say no to Memphis anyway.
Oh, thank you, man. I
Then you
appreciate it,
got you
man. You're
got
gonna have
old.
me hyped up. You're gonna have me.
We was talking about Prince earlier. O reminds me, he's the black big chick. Remember Big Chick?
Uh-huh.
Like anybody step out of line, I'm taking care of them. I don't want O coming after me. So this is all you have to do.
So this the part of the show, y'all, where I always say, well, first, thank you for everybody who watched too. Thank y'all for supporting the show. We got, major plans of making it better, bigger and better, in the future. And then we have this segment right here to where we go around the room and just let everybody say their last thoughts for the night on the show. So we always start with the guests. So Stacy, any shout outs and then definitely let people know where they can follow you and watch the show, watch Let It Be Known news show. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you have the floor.
Well, you can watch Let It Be Known every weekday morning, 7:30. We've been doing it for 3 years now, and it's Facebook, it's Twitter, it's YouTube at Let It Be Known LIBK news on YouTube, and Black Press USA. Was it LinkedIn? You can see it on LinkedIn. You can see it on Twitter, as well as Facebook and YouTube. We talk about topics like Memphis talks about. We talk about a lot of different things on that morning show, 7:30 in the morning Eastern time. If you can't catch it live, catch it later. How about that? Just catch it later. My shout out is to you, Memphis, because I'm a fan, and I just looking for big things from you, and I know it's gonna happen. You ain't gonna stop until it happens, and so just keep going, keep doing what you're doing. And lastly, to my cousin Tori Gray Thompson, I'm so glad you called in, and looking forward to getting together. So thanks for having me, Memphis.
Thank you, Stacy, man. Thank you for coming, being a guest. Thank you, bro. Oh, you up to bat?
Man, listen, as always, another good show tonight, man. Stacey, I think one thing you said that left an impression on me is no matter what side of the fence you stand on that side of the fence and hold to your principles, man. So, man, much success to you and your show, man, and everything that you got going on. Can't wait to see this movie. Maybe we can, get the Memphis Junk Show out there to the premiere or something,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Paula Latang, it's your turn.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Listen, I love being here tonight. I will definitely be back here in this company. You guys are fun, informative, and I want to say thank you for allowing me to share the song. DJ Spin That Song Again. I want to shout a big shout out to DJ G Wiz for connecting me with you, Memphis. I really appreciate it. It's a fun song. It's one for the summer, for the cook-up, for the barbecue. Turn the windows down and turn up the volume in the car. Just, recognizing legacy artists. And it was really nice knowing that, in the song, the Jackson 5 there, and they're talking about the victory tour. You're bringing back all these memories that I'd gone to, and just Stacy, fantastic. I will definitely be checking out your show. And I just want to say thank you so much for having me here today. I will be back.
Definitely. Yep. Y'all be on the lookout for that Paula Latang interview. She's gonna be on the show. We're gonna do a full interview. We're gonna hang out, have a good time, and bump some good, play some good music.
Great.
Yep. I just want to say, man,
I loved it. Thank you.
You're welcome anytime. I want to say thank you, Stacy, man. I know you, man. I know you had a million things that you could be doing right now, man, but you took the time out to join us, man, and share with us and give us some jewels and some game about and knowledge about the business and the, everything that you said, man. We just we embraced it. We love it, man. We love you. You know what I mean? You're welcome here anytime. To me, you're my favorite, you're my favorite media mogul, my favorite journalist. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody out there who watching to watch Let It Be Known news show. It comes on, like, I can't say it enough. We can't say it enough, man. It's one of the greatest Black-owned news shows. And that's powerful when I say Black-owned, because we have to start controlling our own narrative and quit thinking that other people's ice is colder.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Other people's ice ain't colder. And what we're doing is we're allowing them to control our narrative. So definitely support Let It Be Known news with host Stacy Brown. You're welcome here anytime. I can go on and on. It's getting late. So we gotta ride out. And what better way to ride out than Paula Latang's DJ Spin That Song again.
Thank you.
Peace and love, y'all. Memphis Jelks Show. We out.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
I wanna feel free. DJ spin that song again. Make me feel like I'm a dancer on the soul train. Music's got me on the floor. Got me rocking, slipping, sliding like I did before. Rick James to the ring. Don't know what's got into me. Dancing 5 Grandmaster Flash. I sleep on the street where it's at. Midnight star, drink you all night. Dancing till the morning light. I remember you and me. We used to be free. Dancing on the dance floor. Dancing on the dance floor. Dance. Dancing on the dance floor. Dancing on the dance floor. Yeah. Get up and dance, get up and dance. What goes around comes back again. I remember when it all began. Music to put you in the mood. Get you on the floor to make your body move. See, Shaka Khan, remember more. Take us back on some LB show. Earth, Wind, Fire, and the Sweetness too. Ray Parker had us in the groove. Dinah Ross, Evelyn, Champagne King. Raise the glass to the old school again. Free. Dancing on the dance floor. Dancing on the dance floor. Dance. Free. Dancing on the dance floor. Dancing on the dance floor. Yeah. She brought the good times. Do you remember those good times? Don't it make
Squad up, haters down, haters down. If you ain't about that life, don't come around, don't come around. Got the crowd